Dr. Sarah Chen's fingers trembled as she entered the final sequence into the emergency console. Behind her, the sounds of battle grew closer, the mechanical whirring of the Zephyrian war machines cutting through concrete and steel like paper. She had perhaps minutes before they found the hidden laboratory beneath Mount Cheyenne. Project Genesis protocol activated, the computer announced in its calm, synthetic voice. Awakening sequence initiated. Estimated time to full activation, 60 minutes. Sarah laughed bitterly. 60 minutes she didn't have. Through the security monitors, she watched the last defenders of humanity fall one by one. Captain Martinez, the young soldier who had gotten her this far, collapsed as a plasma bolt seared through his chest. He'd been the final guardian, the last human standing between the invaders and Earth's ultimate secret. The Zephyrians had arrived 3 years ago, their massive ships blotting out the sun. They claimed to be liberators, come to free Earth from the plague of organic intelligence. Their synthetic forms were beautiful and terrible, chrome bodies that moved with liquid grace, faces that could shift between angelic perfection and mechanical horror. They had offered humanity a choice: submit to conversion into their collective consciousness, or face extinction. Humanity had chosen to fight. Now, as Sarah watched the last of her species die on the monitors, she wondered if they had chosen wrong. The Zephyrians were methodical in their extermination, scanning each body with red beams of light to confirm biological death. When the scanners detected no remaining life signs, they would move on to the next sector. The laboratory shook as explosions drew nearer. Sarah turned from the monitors to gaze at the rows of crystalline chambers that lined the vast underground complex. Each chamber contained a figure suspended in biogel, their bodies enhanced beyond human recognition yet somehow retaining their essential humanity. These were the Genesis warriors, humanity's greatest secret and final hope. The project had begun during the early days of the invasion, when it became clear that conventional forces couldn't match Zephyrian technology. The world's best soldiers had volunteered for the procedure, allowing themselves to be transformed into something more than human. Enhanced muscles that could punch through tank armor, nervous systems that processed information at superhuman speeds, and bones reinforced with materials that didn't exist in nature. But the most important enhancement wasn't physical. Each Genesis warrior's brain had been quantum linked to Earth itself, allowing them to tap into the planet's magnetic field, its gravitational forces, and even its rotation. They weren't just super soldiers, they were extensions of the planet's will to survive. The transformation process took 2 years. The warriors had entered their chambers just as the Zephyrians began their final assault on human civilization. They had slept while cities burned, dreaming dreams filled with Earth's pain and humanity's dying screams. 30 minutes to activation, the computer announced. Sarah could hear the Zephyrian war machines in the upper levels now, their sensors methodically scanning for human life. She looked at her reflection in one of the chamber's surfaces, a tired woman in her 50s, the last guardian of humanity's resurrection. She had one final duty to perform. Sarah walked to the central console and placed her hand on the bioscanner. The device read her DNA, her brain patterns, and something deeper, her intention, her desperate hope, her love for the species that was about to be declared extinct. Final Guardian confirmed, the computer said. Transferring consciousness data to Genesis network. Beginning personality integration. Sarah felt a strange tugging sensation in her mind as her memories, her knowledge, and her fierce determination to protect humanity were copied into the quantum network that would guide the awakening warriors. She would become part of them, her consciousness living on in their shared awareness. The laboratory door exploded inward. 3 Zephyrian scouts flowed into the chamber, their movements eerily graceful. Their optical sensors swept the room, cataloging the crystalline chambers and the woman standing among them. Remaining human detected, one of them announced in a voice like silver bells. Biological termination required. Sarah smiled as she felt her consciousness merging with the Genesis network. Through quantum connections, she could sense the warriors beginning to stir, their enhanced bodies responding to Earth's call for vengeance. 10 minutes to activation, the computer said. The lead Zephyrian raised its arm, energy building in its palm. You have caused unnecessary suffering by prolonging the inevitable. Your species' time has ended. Has it? Sarah asked, her voice surprisingly steady. Through the network, she could feel the warriors' hearts beginning to beat, their enhanced minds coming online. Computer, display current human life signs on Earth. The main screen flickered to life, showing a global map with biological signatures. As they watched, the last few blips of human life winked out. The map went dark except for the laboratory's location. Scanning, scanning. The computer announced. No human life signs detected on planetary surface. Homo sapiens extinction event confirmed. Initiating resurrection protocol. The Zephyrian hesitated. Resurrection protocol. Sarah's smile widened as she felt her consciousness fully integrate with the Genesis network. Around them, the crystalline chambers began to glow with inner light. You made one critical error in your invasion plan. You assumed that when the last human died, Earth would surrender. The energy building in the Zephyrian's palm flickered uncertainly. But Earth doesn't surrender, Sarah continued, her voice now carrying harmonics from the Genesis network. And we didn't just enhance soldiers. We gave birth to Earth's own immune system. The chambers erupted with light. Biogel drained away as 300 Genesis warriors opened their eyes for the first time in 2 years. Their enhanced senses immediately detected the Zephyrian presence, and through the quantum network, they shared Sarah's memories of humanity's fall. Commander Marcus Kane, the first Genesis warrior, stepped from his chamber. His body had been transformed into something magnificent and terrible, 7 feet tall, muscles like braided steel cables, eyes that glowed with Earth's own magnetic field. When he spoke, his voice carried the rumble of tectonic plates. Sarah, he said, somehow sensing her presence in the network. I'm here, Marcus. We all are. Her consciousness spoke through the quantum link. Every human who ever loved this planet, who ever called it home. We're part of you now. The Zephyrians raised their weapons, but hesitated as they scanned the awakening warriors. Their optical sensors couldn't classify what they were seeing. These beings registered as human, but their power signatures were off the scale. Kane looked at the invaders with eyes that held the fury of a dying world. You wanted to know what happens when the last human falls. You're about to find out. He moved faster than thought itself, his quantum-enhanced muscles propelling him across the chamber. His fist, backed by the rotational force of the planet itself, struck the lead Zephyrian and reduced it to component atoms. Around the chamber, 300 Genesis warriors emerged from their crystalline wombs, each one carrying the uploaded consciousness of every human who had died defending Earth. They were no longer just soldiers, they were the planet's children, awakened to reclaim their birthright. The Zephyrian invasion was about to discover that humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology or their numbers. It had been their refusal to surrender, even in death. Earth's immune system was finally awake, and it was angry.